You've saved $80,000 for your deposit. You're pre-approved for $600,000. You have two choices: buy an established home for $680,000 and pay $28,000 in stamp duty, or build new for $650,000 and pay zero stamp duty. Seems obvious, right? Build and save $58,000. Except that decision just cost someone I know $95,000 they didn't have. In 2 years of their life, they'll never get back. Stay with me, because the build versus buy equation in 2026 has completely changed, and choosing wrong could be the most expensive mistake you make this decade. Here's what nobody tells you when they show you those glossy new home brochures. The $650,000 price isn't real. It never was. By the time you factor in stamp duty on the land, holding costs during construction, price variations, and finance reapproval, that cheaper build becomes more expensive than the established home you passed on, and you've lost 12 to 18 months waiting for completion, while that established property you didn't buy has appreciated $60,000. So how does someone lose $95,000 by choosing to build instead of buy? I'm going to walk you through the real numbers in a moment, but first you need to understand the 5 hidden costs that turn building is cheaper into financial disaster. Because in 2026, the conventional wisdom about building has flipped, and if you're making decisions based on 2022 advice, you're about to get destroyed. Let's start with the biggest selling point builders use: stamp duty savings. In Queensland, first home buyers pay zero stamp duty on new builds with no price cap. In South Australia, same thing, zero stamp duty on new construction, no matter the price. In Victoria, first home buyers get full exemption up to $600,000 for new build. Compare that to established homes where you're paying stamp duty based on purchase price. On a $680,000 established home in Victoria, that's approximately $34,000 in stamp duty. On a new build, zero. That's a $34,000 saving right there. This is the hook. This is how builders justify higher contract price. Sure, our build costs $650,000, but you're saving $34,000 in stamp duty, so really it's only $616,000. Except that math is catastrophically wrong, and here's why. When you build, you're not buying a house. You're buying land first, then separately contracting to build a house, and stamp duty still applies to the land purchase. If you buy a $200,000 block of land in Victoria, you're paying approximately $9,870 in stamp duty on that land as a non-first home buyer. Even as a first home buyer, if the land is your first purchase and you're building your first home, you might get a concession, but it depends on the combined land and construction value and whether the land alone exceeds exemption threshold. The zero stamp duty on new builds benefit typically applies to house and land packages where the house component is new, or to the construction contract itself. But the land transfer still attracts duty in most cases unless you meet very specific first home buyer exemption criteria, so that $34,000 saving already down to $24,000 before you've even started building. But losing $10,000 to land stamp duty is the least of your problem. The real wealth destroyer is time, and I'm going to show you exactly how time kills your equity in a moment. According to recent data, house completion times in Australia average 11.5 months from approval to completion. That's nearly a full year. During those 11.5 months, you're paying holding costs on land that generates zero income. Let's break down what that actually costs you. Council rates, approximately $1,800 to $2,500 annually. For 11.5 months, that's $1,700 to $2,400. Land loan interest. If you finance the land separately before construction starts, you're paying interest on a $200,000 land loan at 6.5%. That's approximately $13,000 in interest during an 11.5 month hold period. Some banks offer interest capitalization during construction, but that just adds the interest to your loan. You still pay for it. Insurance on vacant land. Approximately $500 to $1,000 annually while the block sits empty. Rent. You can't move into land, you're still renting somewhere else. At $600 per week average Australian rent, 11.5 months costs you $30,000 in rent you're paying, while also servicing a land loan. Total holding costs during construction, approximately $45,000 to $46,000. When you buy an established home, you move in immediately. Zero holding costs, zero wasted rent. You start building equity from day one. But here's where the math becomes absolutely devastating for building. Established home prices are rising while you wait for your build to complete. According to property forecasts for 2026, Brisbane is expected to grow 6% annually. Perth, 6% plus. Even Sydney established suburbs are forecast for 3 to 7% growth. Let's use a conservative 5% appreciation rate. You're choosing between option A, buy an established home for $680,000. Over 12 months, it appreciates 5%. That's $34,000 in equity gain. You're living in it, paying down principal, building wealth. Option B, build new, You buy land for $200,000, sign a $650,000 construction contract. While you wait 12 months for completion, you gain zero equity because the property doesn't exist yet. Meanwhile, established homes in the same area have appreciated 5%. The opportunity cost, $34,000 in equity you didn't capture. According to investment property experts, when you hold land during construction, you're holding an asset that doesn't earn income. Meanwhile, someone who bought ready can build $80,000 to $100,000 in usable equity within a year, putting them in a stronger position to reinvest sooner. This is time risk in action, and it's the single biggest hidden cost of building. Let me add this up for you. We started with a cheaper $650,000 build that was supposed to save you $34,000 in stamp duty compared to a $680,000 established home. Stamp duty on land minus $10,000. Holding costs during 12-month construction minus $46,000. Opportunity cost of appreciation you didn't capture minus $34,000. Total hidden cost $90,000. Your cheaper $650,000 build now has an effective cost of $740,000 when you factor in what you paid and what you lost. The $680,000 established home you could have bought for $714,000 after stamp duty is actually $26,000 cheaper, and we haven't even touched on the next two hidden costs yet. But what about build quality? Surely new is better than established, right? New warranty, modern energy rating, no maintenance for years. That has to be worth something. I'm going to show you why that logic is dangerously flawed. But first, the finance trap. When you get approved to buy an established home, you have one approval, one valuation, one settlement. Simple. When you build, you're dealing with multiple finance stages, multiple valuation, and multiple opportunity for everything to fall apart. Here's how construction finance typically works. Stage 1, you get approved for land purchase. The bank values the land. You settle on land. Initial loan activated. Stage 2, construction starts. You're approved for progress payments based on construction milestone. The bank releases funds in stages. Slab frame lockup fixing completion. Stage 3, at practical completion, the bank does a final valuation. Your construction loan converts to a standard mortgage. The problem? If anything changes between stage 1 and stage 3, your finance can collapse. According to APRA's new debt to income limits starting February 2026, banks can't lend to borrowers with DTI ratios above 6 times income for more than 20% of their lending. If your build takes 12 months and your income situation changes, you lose overtime, your partner goes part-time, you have unexpected expenses, you might not qualify for final loan conversion. I've seen cases where construction completes, the borrower has paid $550,000 in progress payment, but the bank won't release the final $100,000 because the borrower's financial situation has shifted slightly. Now they need to find private finance at 12% interest just to complete. Finance reapproval and valuation fees add another $3,000 to $5,000 to your build cost. More importantly, the risk of finance falling through is exponentially higher when building versus buying. Now, let's destroy the new build quality myth. Yes, new builds come with warranty, but what people don't understand is that builder warranties are only as good as the builder's solvent. According to recent industry reports, Melbourne is contending with rising builder insolvency. Brisbane faces ongoing insolvency risks. When a builder goes bankrupt mid-build or shortly after completion, your warranty becomes worthless. I've seen families stuck with incomplete builds because their builder collapsed. Others discovered defects after moving in poor waterproofing, structural issues, non-compliant electrical, only to find the builder had liquidated and the warranty was unenforceable. The Master Builders Association has guidelines, but recovering money from insolvent builders is nearly impossible. Meanwhile, when you buy an established home, you conduct building and pest inspections before purchase. You see exactly what you're getting. If there are issues, you negotiate price reductions or walk away. No surprises, no waiting to discover problems after you've committed $650,000. Quality risk is often higher with new builds in 2026 because of builder financial pressure, labour shortages, and rushing to complete before insolvency. Established homes built 10 to 20 years ago have survived the test of time. Defects are visible and addressed. Let me show you a real example that just happened to someone I advised. The build option, land purchase $200,000 construction contract, $650,000. Total upfront commitment, $850,000. Stamp duty on land, $9,870. Holding costs, 12 months, $46,000. Finance fees and reapproval, $4,000 as rent during construction, $31,200. Opportunity cost, 5% appreciation lost, $34,000. Total effective cost, $975,070. The established home. Option, purchase price, $680,000. Stamp duty, $34,000. Settlement and inspection costs, $3,000. Total upfront cost, $717,000. Move in immediately. Start building equity day 1. Property appreciates 5% over 12 months, plus $34,000 equity net position after 12 months. Property worth $714,000. You're living in it, paying down principal the difference. The person who built is $260,000 worse off in net position after 12 months compared to buying established. They spent more, waited longer, took on more risk, and captured zero appreciation. This is the reality of building in 2026 that nobody shows you in the sales center. Now, before everyone attacks builders in the comments, let me acknowledge, building isn't always the wrong choice. There are specific scenarios where it still makes sense. Scenario 1, you have genuine customization needs that established homes can't meet. Disability access, specific energy efficiency targets, multi-generational living designs that don't exist in established stock. Scenario 2, you're buying in an area where land is genuinely cheaper than established homes, and supply of established homes is near zero. Some regional areas fit this profile. Scenario 3, you're buying as an investor specifically targeting depreciation benefits and can absorb the holding costs without financial stress. Investment property experts note that new builds offer attractive tax depreciation benefits. You can claim both building structure and internal fittings. Scenario 4, you have a long timeline, 18 plus months, significant cash buffer, 20% plus beyond your deposit, and you're building in a slow appreciation market where opportunity cost is minimal. But for most first home buyers in 2026 trying to get into the market with minimal deposit and tight budgets, building is financial suicide. Let me spell out why established homes are dominating in 2026. Advantage 1, immediate equity building. You move in, start paying down principal, and capture appreciation from day one. No wasted time. Advantage 2, lower finance risk. One approval, one valuation, one settlement. Done. No multi-stage complexity. Advantage 3, visible quality. You see exactly what you're buying. Building inspections reveal issues before purchase. No gambling on builder solvency. Advantage 4, location superiority. Established homes are typically closer to CBD in established suburbs with infrastructure. New estates are on urban fringes with longer commutes and less amenity. According to property experts, well-located established houses remain the strongest performers. Investment-grade properties in gentrifying suburbs and family-friendly established apartments in lifestyle suburbs continue to outperform. Advantage 5, speed to market. You can buy and settle in 4 to 6 weeks, not 12 to 18 months. Speed matters when prices are rising. Here's what's driving this shift in 2026. First, established property supply is critically low. Listings are 18% below 5-year averages nationally. Low supply plus high demand equals price appreciation. When established homes are appreciating 5 to 6% annually, the opportunity cost of waiting 12 months to build is catastrophic. Second, build costs have stabilized but remain elevated. Construction inflation ran hot in 2022 to 2024. It's cooled but hasn't reversed. Labour shortages persist. According to industry data, builds still average 11.5 months and delays remain common. Third, finance rules have tightened. PRAs. February 2026 debt-to-income caps make construction finance riskier. Banks are more cautious, approval rates have dropped. Fourth, builder insolvency risk persists. Melbourne, Brisbane and regional areas all face ongoing builder financial stress. Your warranty is worthless if your builder collapses. Fifth, the stamp duty savings advantage has eroded as first home buyer thresholds increased for established homes. In NSW, first home buyers get full exemption up to $800,000 for established homes. Victoria, $600,000. The gap between new and established stamp duty has narrowed significantly. So here's your decision framework for 2026. Choose established if you need to enter the market quickly, 3 to 6 month timeline. You have minimal cash buffer beyond your deposit, less than 15% extra. You're buying in an appreciating market, 5% plus growth forecast. You prioritize location over customization. You want lower finance risk and faster equity building. Choose building if you have 18 plus months of timeline flexibility. You have 20% plus cash buffer beyond deposit to cover blowouts and holding costs. You have genuine customization needs that established can't meet. You're buying in a flat market where opportunity cost is minimal. You're an experienced investor targeting depreciation benefits. For 90% of first home buyers in 2026, established is the right answer. The stamp duty savings on new builds don't offset the holding costs, opportunity costs, and finance risks. Let me tell you what's really happening in the industry. Builders are struggling with tight margins, labor costs, and insolvency risks. They need to sell contracts now to keep cash flowing. So they lead with stamp duty saving. They show you a $650,000 price that looks cheaper than a $680,000 established home. They don't mention land stamp duty. They underestimate holding costs. They ignore opportunity cost, and they certainly don't tell you that by the time your build completes 12 months later, the established home you didn't buy is now worth $714,000 and has $34,000 in built equity, while your new build has zero equity gain and $90,000 in hidden costs. This isn't a conspiracy, it's just business, but you need to understand the full picture before signing. Let me bring this full circle to the opening scenario. You have $80,000 deposit and $600,000 borrowing capacity. Option A, established home, purchase price $680,000. Stamp duty, if not exempt, $34,000. Total, $714,000. Your equity, $80,000 minus $34,000 stamp equals $46,000. Day one after 12 months at 5% appreciation. $714,000 property, $80,000 equity, paid down principal plus appreciation. Option B, build. Land, $200,000 plus $9,870 stamp. Build, $650,000. Holding cost, $46,000. Total cash out, $905,870. Your equity after 12 months, $80,000 deposit minus $55,870 in holding cost. And land stamp equals $24,130 equity property worth, $850,000. No appreciation captured during build. You're $55,870 worse off, and you wasted 12 months of your life. The answer just changed. Building is no longer obviously cheaper. In most 2026 scenarios, it's financially disastrous for typical first home buyers. So here's the truth about building versus buying in 2026. The stamp duty savings don't save you money. They just hide the real costs until it's too late. Holding costs, opportunity costs, finance risks, and time delays turn that cheaper build into an expensive mistake. Meanwhile, established homes let you move fast, build equity immediately, and capture appreciation, while build and hope buyers wait 12 to 18 months and bleed cash. If you're a first home buyer with a tight budget and timeline, buying established is the smart play in 2020. If you're an experienced investor or have deep pockets and long timeline, building can still work. But if anyone tells you building is always cheaper because of stamp duty, run. They're either lying or they don't understand the real math. You now know the 5 hidden costs that destroy the building. Use this framework. Make an informed decision. Don't let marketing fluff cost you $95,000 and 2 years of your life. If this just saved you from a catastrophic financial mistake, smash that like button. Subscribe for more property reality checks that cut through the industry BS. Drop a comment sharing whether you're team build or team established in 2026 and why. Thanks for watching.